I don't imagine he won't be in the top 5 in the first 10 laps.
To be fair, though, he's got to side his way through the entire field. He says he's not even, I mean, he did one sighting lap, effectively, one shakedown lap, which you can't learn much from. So he's not, I mean, I know he knows this place and he's won here before, but even so, it's a tough ask to expect to come here literally overnight, not set the car up. Everybody else has been effectively fettling it. And we're expecting them to go for gold, go for the go on the second time by here at Indy. Now, if you're tuning in and thinking, how have they done this? Well, this is effectively the same as the Grand Prix version of the Indy May race, which takes place on May 14th. So they are going effectively down from turn 1 at the normal Indy 500 way and going backwards down the circuit in what I call the Indy Car Grand Prix circuit. And so this is turn 1, which is effectively halfway down the main straight here at Indy. So it's a backwards way of going around the circuit. But that also adds to an infield of really quite tight racing, although wide racing compared to some of the tracks that we go to here in Trans Am. There's a little bit more, leeway, as it were, to make mistakes and recover.
Yeah, and one big thing, especially with having local cautions, that there's so much runoff and so much room. Takes quite a bit to do a full course. And it's funny, yeah, you're going backwards. We talked to Boris yesterday, and he's like, I'm used to going the other way in a Cup car, so it's kind of weird for me to go the opposite way. So.
Okay, it looks as though we're going to get a split start in this one, and obviously we've got effectively 3 different categories in here. We've got the TA, the TA3, and the TA4. Going back to Boris said, I love talking to him. He's such a character. He's one of America's finest, as it were. He's got a 32-year career behind him, and I saw him the other day, and I said, you've given this all up. And he said, well, he said, you know what? He said, those GT cars, he said, I've been running. He said, they got a lot of electronics. They got a lot of stuff on it, a lot of telemetry. He said, I wanted some horsepower. I wanted it to be able to change some gears, and I wanted to go racing. And I said, I like your style. Welcome aboard.
Yeah. And we touched on this before. A lot of these guys are coming back to this grassroots type stuff. Not that Trans Am's quite grassroots, but real, big American race cars. So I know my dad and I are itching to get back into one, maybe into Stevens and Miller. We'll see.
So, what is this an announcement?
I'm just, speculating. I'm throwing it out there.
I like your style. So, you heard it first, folks. The Dallenbachs aren't done just yet. Okay, we are slowing it right down now. And we're going to have a split start, as you can see. Ernie Francis Jr. at the back of the TA field. And he's going to try to side his way through and see how many points he can get. He leads at the moment with 99, but he starts at the back, and the reason for that was he wasn't here for qualifying on practice. He was racing in NASCAR. So Ernie's got it all to do. But they lead him all away now. Paul Fix, David Pintarak, away they go. And Ernie's already made up one place. Good start down the main straight here.
Is that Boris going down for the lead? Or thinking about it.
He's not into the lead, but he's not far off. Yes. We are watching the Berryman, TA3, TA4 and race. And the second start on its way for the TA3 and TA4. And away they go. Good clean start, and the 4-line boys are up there. The Ginetta jinking out on the inside. Back with TA. And a good start from Lawrence Loshak. He's got away well. And the man from Wisconsin in the Chevrolet Camaro who qualified, 4th position. Boris said got to go away well, but it's going to be Loshak who leads the way. We're also watching out for Tommy Dreesy, Chris Dyson, and we spoke to Chris. He's been under the weather all weekend, and we did an interview with him, and he said, don't come too close, I'm not feeling so good. But he's battled through it, and certainly it hasn't affected him too much in the car anyway, and he's managed to keep going. So we'll keep an eye on how he gets on. Amy Ruman, we'll keep an eye on her as well. But we are underway, and a good clean start. Tell us about Paul Fitch. You spoke to him about tyre management over the weekend, Jake.
Yeah, he what he did in qualifying was his goal was to go out and get a really fast lap and save his tires so he could go hard and get a little bit of a lead from these guys during the race, and that's exactly what he's done. So I think he had a pretty good strategy there, but I wouldn't count Boris out. I think he's just feeling it out a little bit.
Well, Boris is a true winner. There's no question about it. Whenever Boris said gets behind the wheel of anything, it doesn't matter whether it's a lawnmower or a Trans Am car, he's going to be competitive. He'll be the fastest lawn cutter in his granddad days as he is, but right now he's still very much a very fast racing driver, and he's pretty much driven everything there is to drive in the United States, if not internationally as well. Great guy, great racer, and it may be 14 years since he's driven Trans Am, but I know he's really, really tickled. He started the weekend off without a tachometer, so he didn't really know just exactly where he was, and he said, I'm going by feel at the moment, but that's good enough for me. As you can see, the number 98, the light blue and white car of number 98, our championship leader, Ernie Francis Jr. from Florida, siding his way through bit by bit. How far will he get? We wonder. He certainly made some places up early on, and it's good to see. Paul Fix leads the way from Sed. Loshak third. Pintarak, Dreesy, Ruman. Chris Dyson still in the top 10. He's 7th at the moment. Kenny Bupp of Fort Lauderdale just behind him. He's gone up a place. And Simon Gregg, who needs some points, is 9th. Ernie Francis Jr. is already in 10th position, Jake. We knew he was going to go well, but this is fantastic. I mean, this is a 100-mile race. He crosses the line right now, and he's already up to 9th position now.
What did I give it, 10 laps?
You did say he was going to come through, and that's a remarkable start.
I'm going to start betting you from now on.
I think so. Well, I won't take him. Well, we spoke to him, didn't we, earlier, and you sort of jokingly said, well, how far do you think you can get? And he said, I want to win the race. You also
which
said
is the right answer.
You also said to Paul Fix, how much pressure do you feel with him starting in the back? Which is a tongue-in-cheek question, but he did answer it and say, well, he hasn't got the setup, he hasn't been here, I think we were okay. But I'm not so sure about that anymore.
There was a long pause before.
There was a long pause before he answered.
I'm not sure I want to answer that.
Yeah. Well, we're looking at the sensation that is Ernie Francis Jr. You've been watching this kid for a while. What is special about him? I mean, he clearly doesn't win the championships he's won and the number of races he's won without being very, very good indeed.
Yeah, he's a remarkable young driver, and it goes down to, I had a chance to talk to him in, not Detroit, because he wasn't there.
Yes, you did.
He was there.
Yeah, exactly. You probably spoke to him.
Yeah, because I forgot he was in a TA2 car.
Right. And he got,
we got a little.
Around. That's the number 16. Oh, it's all going off. Well, we thought yesterday was exciting. We've got another situation here. And the 16 car. And that's in the TA4 class. Spun round.
That might bring out the caution if he can't get it fired out of that sand trap.
Yeah. So, drama already. That's Tom Herb in TA3 in the 991 GT3 Cup car.
Yeah, they're going full yellow.
Now, the one thing we said about Ernie Francis Jr. is we cool things down a little, is that any caution, and here's one, is going to help him. Because if he's pushing as much as he's probably had to compared to others, let's take a look now at what happened, because that was an odd situation, and it involved a couple of cars, but I think there was 2 different incidents, to be honest. Here we go. Yeah, so one incident completely on his own. That's the number 16 of Tom Herb, spinning it around the 4-line car. And then I think, they're trying to take avoiding action, and that was just a touch accidental, and it spun another one of the Porsches round, and it's just unfortunate, really. No one to blame. In racing incident.
Yeah. Well, like we said, the big wide racetrack, I mean, that helped a lot for everyone.
Yeah, that was Milton Grant in the 55 from Tennessee in the GA3 Porsche, getting pushed onto the grass, but no fault really of anybody's, because they were just trying to avoid the car that was already strewn in the middle of the track. So everything cools down. Paul Fix leads the way. Boris Sett is right up there. Lawrence Loshak, David Pintarak, Tommy Dreesy, and Tommy Dreesy coming in for the first time this season. Of course, he races in the West, but he's also racing overall, so he's looking for all possibilities. He just wants to be on the top of the box, does Tommy Dreesy, and he has an interesting career in Trans Am. I've been watching some of the videos. There's no question that whenever Tommy's out on track, you don't know what might happen.
Yeah, that's a fact. Great race car driver, but goes back to, hey, it's Indy. It's bringing everyone all over the country. So it'll be interesting to see how he does this race.
No question about it. Going back to the heat, talk about generally setting up a car in the heat, because what's the I mean, you've clearly mentioned tire management as being a key, but what is the key in your mind?
I mean, you don't want to start off with a loose race car. I mean, when I say a loose race car, one that already doesn't have grip, right? So go with a little bit tighter setup, but the tires are so important here. I mean, you burn them off and you have nothing left at the end.
Well, while we've got a couple of seconds, should we get Joe Stevens in from Berryman? And obviously we want to talk about our sponsorship, but we also want to talk about your observations. You've been enjoying the day. What have you seen out there? You've spoken to a few guys, but first of all, welcome. Tell us what you're here for.
Glad to be here. You know, it's been an exciting race. We're already into our first caution, just a few laps in. You know, I think I saw that coming. The temps out there are crazy. The Berryman at the Brickyard is already turning out to be an exciting race.
So tell us more about Berryman and their involvement and what they do for anybody racing.
Well, certainly. So Berryman is a company that's been in existence for over 100 years now. It's their 100th-year anniversary. It's a family-owned company, and they're helping out people that own dealerships, that own their own, repair shops locally. They have some great products, great product range. If you need things like, you get it dirty, they'll help you clean it up. It's really that simple. They have a massive catalog. You should check them out online. And it's a great company and a great team. We're happy to be partnered with them in 2018. At Stevens Miller Racing, that partnership has been absolutely crucial in our successes out on track. And you can see these guys up front. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. You need the preparation. You need to have a solid car. And I can tell you right now, Boris said, Lawrence Loshak, they're using these products. They love these products. These guys, they know what it takes, and that's back at the shop. And it's cool to see out here, these cars are being pushed to the limit. We're talking cockpit temperatures, 150 degrees. It is extremely, extremely tough on not only the cars, but the drivers, and Berryman makes it happen.
What's going on with Stevens Miller Racing?
Stevens Miller Racing is a Trans Am TA2 arrive and drive company. And we have Challengers, we have Ford Mustangs, we have the Chevrolet Camaro under the canopy this year, and we are busy, busy, busy. TA2 is all that we do, and it's proven in the results. We have a great product, our customers love it, and we show up ready to go.
And rumor has it you're running the Dellenbach soon, I hear.
You know what? We're open to that. I hope he doesn't crash my cars. We had a pretty rough Detroit, as you guys know, and I don't know. This guy looks a little crazy over here. I don't know if I can trust him.
Okay, well, we got that out. We've got aired that fully now. So before you go, we're about to get underway again. Who's your money on? What about a win for Ernie?
It's very possible. I'm going to tell you right now, coming from the back, he's now in the pack where it's not going to be easy to pick those guys off. They're quick. He's got to take care of his equipment. The rear tire, especially that left rear, it takes a beating out here coming out on turn 14. He's going to have a hard time. I think he's going to be lucky to top 5 it. If he did, that would say a lot about his ability. My money right now, I'm going to say Lawrence Loshak, running Flowtech Power with Lee Schwartz. That team is very tough to beat. Boris said, though, I spoke to him before the race here. He says if he's got an opportunity, he's 10 tenths. If there's a hole, he's going to fill it. And you know what? I don't think he's afraid of wrecking the thing. He's crazy. He's ready to go. and you know what? I think that goes for everybody up in the top 5. If there's a chance for them to get the checkered, they're going to make a run.
You're listening to Joe Stevens. Yeah, crazy and ready to go. That's a good sort of CV for a resume for a racing driver, yeah. As long as you're ready to go and being a little bit crazy, and this heat, to be out there in a car, you've got to be kind of a little bit. I was just out in the grandstands. All right, well, we're going green very soon indeed. My thanks to Joe Stevens coming in to tell us about Berryman and, of course, what's going on with his team. And we are getting ready to go. And can Mr. Fix-It, Paul Fix, do the business and stay there? And he's got that big stop sign on the back of his car, and I guess that's also trying to tell everybody to not pass it.
I don't think Boris is really
yeah, he's not watching. He's not looking. Yeah, I'm going to say, when you haven't done a Trans Am race for 13 years, you're basically retired, and you're out here. There's really, second isn't really an option, is it?
No, I don't think second's ever an option, really. Yeah.
What do you think of this layout?
I love this track. It's a lot of fun to drive.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time coming down the straightaway.
Green flag waves then, and away we go. And look at Boris Said. Oh, Boris gets it done right away. And I don't think we've had any other questions to ask. Is he ready? Yes. That restart says it all. Now, where is Ernie Francis Jr.? He's in about 8th at the moment. Boris Said, though, leads this race, and I'm sure Ernie will get the nod that Boris is pulling away at the front. Now, can anybody react?
Loshak's right there, though. I think Loshak might be a little bit better than Boris.
Well, he got a good restart, and he's up to second, as you quite rightly point out. I'm keeping an eye, as I said. Ernie Francis' next victim, if that's the right word, is Amy Ruman. She's just ahead of him in 7th position. Kenny Bupp, Simon Gregg still in the top 10, but now the battle is on, and it really is a battle. There comes Ernie on Ruman. He's side by side, and I think he's got her.
I don't know.
Keep your foot in, Amy. Through goes Ernie. Nicely done, though, and he is continuing to sign his way. He started at the back, and the reason for being, he was racing in New Jersey last night, which, incidentally, he got pole out of 2nd place. Not a bad way to go. It could be a very eventful weekend, and it certainly was at Detroit. Didn't get the best of starts. The weather didn't help him, but he was already in his first run in TA2 on the podium by the end of the weekend. Listening to Joe there about the end of the race and how much you've got left. What point are you sort of getting down through the laps? We've got 35 to go, where you are starting to feel the car, the lighter load, and you're starting to slide a little more.
It's going to be 10 to go,
yep.
I think. And nobody's better at doing that than Boris. So if it goes green and it does get greasy, I think Boris is going to start pulling away.
Well, Boris's last lap at 1:30.2. Lawrence Loshak at 1:30.5. And then it drops off. I'm looking at Ernie Francis's last lap. He did a 1:32.5 in traffic. And I think these next couple of laps will give us an idea, an indication, if you will, as to just how much pace they can put on. Good news, Paul Fix hasn't dropped off too much. He's still there in 3rd place, just behind him. David Pintarek right there in 4th position. And we just heard that Boris has got nothing on the dash at all. But he said yesterday, I'm going by feel. So
I don't think he needs
doesn't need it.
No.
Rumour has it they've also tied one hand behind his back because he's so racy and wants to push hard. But no, I am being facetious there. But Boris doesn't need it, does he?
No, he doesn't. That would be really, if he could pull off a win here, that would be awesome for Wevo Racing Concept. I think this is his 2nd car that he's built for the Trans Am Series. So even to come out here and lead is a huge accomplishment.
I can see how the phone call went. He was probably out mowing the lawn, and somebody gave him a call and said, listen, how about I prepare you a really doozy of a car for Indy. It's going to be June. You can take on the rest of the boys. You'll have a decent chance of winning, depending on how you're qualifying. It's a no-brainer. He's here. They cross the line again then. Boris Said a 1:29. He's up the times again, but so too have all of the top men, all top 5 have gone down into the 29s now. We go back to take a look at TA3, that being led by Tim Kesman, and just ahead of Aaron Pierce, Cindy Lux in 3rd position, and then Mark Oden. Aline Cipriani in the Ginetta G55. Keeping an eye on that as well. And the Lemons for Love. Good charities representing. Heard about that at the beginning of the season, but haven't seen these boys in action since Homestead, and it's good to see them back out there.
Yeah, good little battle right here. It seems like the vet keeps inching, and as soon as they get down into the infield, that Porsche starts to pull away.
Good battle here then for TA3. Kesman, as you can see, pushing hard as he dare in these conditions. And like you say, when we get down, we've got 33 to go. A 100-mile race here at Indy on the Grand Prix circuit. And this part of the SVRA weekend where we've seen some of the great vintage cars and some of the drivers who drove them.
Paul Fix. Oh, looks something's up with Boris here.
Yeah, he suddenly dropped off a little, and I'm not quite sure what that reason is, but That would have been a better story had he been pushing on, because Boris is such a character. But it's not over yet. Don't count him out. He might be able to fix it from inside, but I don't think so. Whatever's wrong, he's still pushing. You saw him jumping over the curbs there. He's trying to hold position. Now Ernie Francis Jr. is coming and coming strong. Ernie's up to 6th place now, and he's got Chris Dyson in his sights. In fact, he hasn't, because he's already passed him. Ernie is on the run. Ernie Francis Jr., the 98. This has been a superb run. Remember, folks, just 22 years of age. He started at the back. So, kids, if you're watching, you too can get involved in this amazing sport and do what Ernie's been doing for the last few years. His future is so bright. We've also got a youngster, just 21 years of age, from Nebraska out there, Warren Dexter, in his first run in the Ginetta. Lovely kid. And he's running at the moment in 20th position. But what I do like about Trans Am is you've got the likes of Boris coming back. You've got the likes of Paul Tracy having a go now and again. But then you've got the guys that have been here for maybe 20 years. But you've also got youngsters coming through. And that's what it's open to all, and it's affordable.
Yeah, that's the key, being affordable. That you can go and... trouble there.
You can't afford to do that. Well, he's got lucky. Nothing hit the wall there. But he's okay. That's Kenny Buck.
I think he's broke something.
Yeah, he has, and he slowed right down. So, unfortunately, whatever did happen, he avoided hitting the wall, I think, but he's going across the line now with smoke pouring out the back of the rear of that car, and I don't know whether it's bodywork or not,
I think
but
it's suspension.
Ooh. Now, don't get on the race line. That's not the place to be. So, all right, well, let's find out what happened.
Something in the left front broke.
The run, yeah, no, it's right front. He got a puncture, I think.
Left front.
Left front, excuse me. Yeah.
Same difference.
Yeah.
Just different.
Yeah, look, it's locked up as well.
For sure.
So that's what's causing it, but he ain't going anywhere with that. He's got basically a locked left front, which is probably, I don't know, is it punctured as well, or is it just locked?
No, something definitely broke. You could see the left front kind of go down.
It'd be fun, didn't it?
Now, if we were on a circle track, it'd be fine. You can run like that.
Okay. I don't know for how long.
You don't need the left front.
Okay, fair enough. Well, he needs it right now, and he's trying 3 wheels on his wagon to get back to the pits, but it's all going to come to naught. But everybody's passing him, including the TA3 boys. But out front, Lawrence Loshak still now leads from Paul Fix. Peterak is in 3rd place. Ernie Francis Jr. is in 4th, and here he comes down the main straight. This has been a spectacular run, and there's still 30 to go. And the frameless man is in the frame for a podium.
Yeah, he ran last year, and I believe he ran very, very well last year, too. So, and this, when we talked to him today, this is the same setup. So he's familiar with the setup at least.
Yeah. And, you know, he's a pretty laid-back dude anyway, but he seemed this morning even to have no fear. He was actually watching CBS. He was watching Detroit, see how he got on there. And I was like, oh, okay, you're in a pretty laid-back mode. He wasn't, you know, frantically worrying about what was happening today. And, yeah.
Can't do anything about it.
I guess not, yeah. Why worry about something you can't control? They always say that. Well, he's in control here, and he's got David Pinterak in his sights. And the Cadillac CTS-V just ahead of him. Resplendently painted, I may add. But I don't think Ernie's too bothered about his colour scheme. Somebody's slowing right down.
That's Bub.
That's Buck coming in. He's finally got round. Okay, so he's got round, and he'll be out of the way. Whoa, somebody going wide there, and trying to avoid the battle that we've got for 4th place overall. And 3rd isn't too far behind.
Yeah, Fix has fallen off a little bit. Pinterak even caught him there.
Yeah, Fix dropping back, and I think Ernie's going to be up, right up there, and he could be trying to challenge Lawrence Loshak before the end of this race. They go through.
I think Pinterak saw Ernie and was like, okay, now I need to pass Paul.
Now I need to get going, yeah. But this has been a great run, and you did actually ask Paul Fix how worried he was about fighting with Ernie, and he kind of looked at you kind of somewhat quizzically, but he's not looking so quizzical now. He knows that Ernie's right there. So in comes Buck with that left front. And they'll try to sort it out, see if they can get it back out, do a few tests, laps, but his day over here. You're watching the Berriman TA, TA3, and TA4 race from the Brickyard.
Kenny Bupp is Jordan Bupp's dad, who won the TA2 car race yesterday.
And somebody tried to claim he was really old, but he didn't look a day over 55 to me. And now we see the gap between the leader and those chasing him for second, third, and fourth. And there is Ernie Francis Jr. in fourth position. We saw Lawrence Loshak just go through, and the gap precisely is 5.7 seconds. So there is time, and here is your leader. And here come the chasing pack down this famous and iconic Brickyard. I wonder what they must have thought back in 1909 if they would have imagined looking ahead and into the future to see how this track would be used by so many different versions of racing, but still the same spirit continues, and I love it. And Trans Am very much still the heartbeat of American racing. And this is a cracking race, and right now I think we've got the calm before the storm with 28 to go. This the battle for second place. Tarek, Fix, and Ernie Francis Jr. Chris Dyson still in fifth place and will be looking to collect some points, but he's not in this battle at the moment.
And all three cars are better at, I'm watching them, they're better at different parts of the racetrack. And so they go, like Ernie Francis, he's a little bit better getting off that corner, but these guys pull away through here. So this will be interesting to see who pushes it and pushes it a little too far.
Yep. Well, you can see that Ernie, just from the body language of the car and where he's positioning himself on the track, is desperate to get past. And he knows he needs, I mean, he said it outright to you, I can win this race. I want to win it.
Yeah. You have to be confident. You have to think you can win every race.
Yep. But not when you're starting at the back. That doesn't give you, it doesn't fill you with confidence, does it?
It depends.
All right, going back to TA3, it's still Tim Kesman from Bowden and Pierce. TA4. Warren Dexter, remember, in his first race in the Ginetta, and still going strong. But we're, of course, keeping an eye on this battle for TA for second, third, and fourth place. Coming up on some traffic. But they've still got some work to do as they side their way through. Loshak with a strong lead of 7 seconds now, so he's already put another couple of seconds on them. Now we're drifting back, as you can see, to pick up the battle for TA3, which involves Tim Kesman from Wisconsin in the Porsche 991 GT3 Cup car. There he is. And the battle behind him of Bowden and Pierce. I think you chatted to Mark Bowden last night, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but if Pierce just let him go or something wrong with Pierce, that was way too easy for Bowden to get by.
And Boris said, finally coming in, so whatever problem he's got looks terminal because he wouldn't want to come in unless he had to. So sadly, the Weaver car just making its way down the pit lane. Oh, somebody parked it. Into the gravel goes the number 88. That is Tim Adolphson in the TA class in the Camaro, and I think he's just done that on his own. I don't think anybody else was involved in that. Maybe just got a little too hot into the right-hander.
Or he had help.
He could have had help.
Could have had help.
Well, I'm sure we'll find out, but either way, he's out. And that could be a full course yellow, and it is. So, the plot thickens again. And is this helping Ernie, or... well, it's certainly hindering Lawrence, but it's helping Ernie Francis Jr. So, everything slows right down behind the pace car again. So, how do you play it from here, Jake? 26 to go, and probably by the time we restart, 25, 24 to go, by the time they've excavated him out of that gravel trap. How do you go? Let me put you in, let's say, Ernie Francis's position. How do you go about it?
Go hard on the restart. He's got to get the position to get up to Loshak.
Hell-bent for leather, straight for the restart.
And that's the same goes to Loshak. If I'm Loshak, I'm like, I got to go and get away from these guys as quick as possible, and you just get out of their way. Ernie, I believe there was a pass for second, it looks like. Not sure, but...
Yes, there was.
Was there?
Yeah, David Pitara getting past Paul Fix. Fix now third.
Fix fourth.
Well, Yeah, fix 4. Probably get an idea as to actually what has caused this.
I'm still looking at Pierce's car. It looks like something's wrong with it.
In comes Bupp. So let's take a look at what actually happened. Here we go. And Ernie Francis Jr., nicely done. And Fix try to stay with him. But that was a good clean pass. And again, Ernie has done a really good job of staying clean, just picking his right moments. And that's a key, all the way through this race. It's one thing to say you're fast enough to get through. It's another to do it cleanly. Yeah,
and then you got to be smart about it. You don't want to make a mistake and run into someone and, end up with a penalty. And Loshak, I was noticing him early here. He took off. Like yesterday, we saw Rafa take off and a couple cautions and had a pretty good race there. So I think that Loshak is going to be able to get away from him.
Let me ask you a question. Did you have eggs for breakfast this morning?
I did not.
Well,
just coffee.
Okay, I just got a word from the Pirelli tire techs down in pit lane. 144 degrees on track right now. So if you fancy some eggs, I'm sure they'll crack a couple and fry them up for you.
I'm sure.
That's how hot it is here. Really, really hot day. And just to remind you, if you are sitting in the stands, just to hydrate and make sure you stay hydrated. Stay in the shade if you dare. And while we're under caution once again, Joe Stevens joins us. Joe, your take. We just heard what Jake's got to say. You've seen a few incidents now, but with the laps we've got left to go, this Berriman race going good.
Very good. 25 to go here. Ernie's done a phenomenal job. I think he's got pretty good tires yet. I mean, it's surprising to see how fast he was able to carve through that pack and keep the equipment underneath him.
So, would you say he's still got plenty of tire left, as it were? I mean, he hasn't, in my mind, had to force his way anywhere.
No, it doesn't seem like anyone's really put up a huge fight. He's been able to get him into 7 out of 14. Obviously, of course, into 1 into the big brake zone. He's confident in the brakes, and I think he's got the rear tire to really keep on pushing. Loshak he's got a job in front of him, that's for sure.
And if he was a kid with no experience in Trans Am, you might doubt his ability at this point. But he's got so many wins behind him, so much experience in this kind of car, from TA4, TA3. He's done it all. So the point is, he knows how to manage the tires on this kind of power and this kind of horsepower.
Yeah, most importantly, he won here last year. Yep. Same setup, same set of gears. He knows what it takes, and he's got a really good hold on what 100 miles, to race all the way hard to the end, what that takes and what it demands from the equipment and from him. So I got confidence that he'll be at Loshak's door here pretty quick. Loshak's strong, and he's got a really good engine supplier behind that team. I think it'll be interesting to see how these guys go.
Yeah, and of course, as I said, Ernie's a whippersnapper in his mid-20s, but I would have thought the conditions for anybody just here is tough. I mean, it's a tough day out there. To be in this cockpit when you slow down like this, it's just getting hotter and hotter. It's not easy, is it? It's going to be a long sprint to those last few laps.
Absolutely. Again, the BerrymanProducts.com website is huge. They have brake cleaners, carb cleaners, tire sealants. They have all that you need to prep a car like this, not only at the racing level, but on the street level too. They have a phenomenal group behind them, family owned, 100 years in business. That says a lot.
Yeah, it does. Well, they are all filing by across. Kesman now in TA3 crosses the line. We're under full caution yellow. We welcome you wherever you're watching to our Trans Am coverage. It's been a big weekend here at Indy, and there's more big weekends to come. We're not even a halfway point of this 12-round championship, and we've got a lot of iconic circuits to go to, from Watkins Glen, Mid-Ohio, Road America, Coda, Daytona, of course, and we've already been to Florida and to Detroit. Detroit, what a cracker. It was a tough weekend for you, but it's a good place to go.
Correct, yeah. It was a tough race for Stevens Miller Racing. We brought 5 cars, and we ran into some cement barriers. Honestly, it's a difficult track to get right. It was a hard-fought race. Unfortunately, the '77 Ford Mustang, driven by Mark Miller, didn't even get to the race. We had an issue in qualifying, contact with another driver, And then, of course, the 76, driven by Anthony Honeywell, spun in turn one in a big crash. Big crash. We had a lot of work at our chassis supplier with Chaz Howe, making sure that those cars were set and ready to go for this race. Yesterday was tough. I mean, right now you have to remember it's about 150 degrees inside that car. The water inside the drink tube is hot to the touch, and they're not even getting any airflow. 60 mile an hour, it's going to be really, really hard for those drivers to stay focused for the rest of this race.
So Boris said just getting back out, it looks as though, and also a bit of news there. You saw a shot there of the TA4 car of Bill Bateman. Bill Bateman, who of course was running in second in TA4, but he was in the pits, and he's still down there at the moment. He was chasing Warren Dexter in TA4, but he's come into the pits, and that's not good news for him. So that keeps the battle for TA4 very much alive as well. But it's Lawrence Loshak, Pintarek, then Paul Fix, and Ernie Francis Jr. Francis Jr., of course, getting into third place, and looks as though he's on for a podium after starting at the back. And we'll have one restart by the looks of things, or there could be more. 24 laps to go. Kesman, Bowden, and Pierce leading in TA3. Cindy Luck still there. Cipriani as well.
The production-based cars can get a lot of heat inside of them. They use those larger mufflers, especially the Viper, that V10, large engine sitting a little bit further back. That car carries 600 more pounds than the Porsches, and I'll tell you, it makes some heat in there. Cindy Luck's her first race back. She's got it cut out for her here. It's tough.
Yeah, it's physically tough for everyone, but when you're trying to push as well, another lap completed by the pace car. And hopefully we'll be going racing fairly soon. And as you can see, the number 88 making its way back across the grass. Thanks to Joe again for coming in and giving his thoughts as we had a little bit of downtime before the onslaught. And Jake, joining me again, you've had a time to think about it now. Who's going to win this race?
I'm liking Loshak.
Yeah,
I think he's got the car.
Well, we heard from Joe earlier. He's got the bit between his teeth. He hasn't won this year, and he's ready. And he's had a few mishaps, hasn't he, along the way? I'm thinking Road Atlanta, where he hit the wall in practice.
Yeah, that was rough for him, and I know he was pretty disappointed about that. But they've bounced back, and they're focused this year. So I think Ernie's going to give him a run for his money, but I would say that he's going to be able to hold him off if Ernie doesn't, wear off his tires trying to get around Pintarek.
Certainly going to be an interesting restart here. And we're expecting to go green this time by now. And just going back to yesterday's race, TA2, Rafa Matos was leading them in a situation similar to this. And he actually jumped the start because the mistake he made was that he accelerated before seeing the green flag. And I'm sure the experience out there, Lawrence Loshak won't make that mistake, especially as everybody in the paddock is aware of what happened. That's just half of the story. We can tell you the rest of it later. But go on our website. All the information is there. Suffice to say, Rafa didn't score anything in the end. But a shame because he led most of the race at TA2. He's still very much leading the championship, but it's much tighter now. So we are about to go green here in our TA3 and TA4 race here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A history since 1909, and here we are in 2018, and no one has lost any of that competitive edge for running these iconic American cars here at the track, America's greatest.
Well, you can't say that now. There's British cars there.
That's true. There is that. I take it all back. It's a heck of an international entry, actually. They've got Brazilian engineers, Italians in there. They've got a driver, a 21-year-old American
from
driver,
Nebraska,
who's driving the Ginetta from Great Britain. I'm just glad to see them there. Here we go, then. So, when he sees that green flag, then he can accelerate, and the rest of the pack, including Ernie Francis Jr., who's come from the back, will accelerate away. We're looking across to the famous flag, and there it is. And away we go.
Loshak spun the tires there on the restart.
He did. And David Pintarek is alongside him. It's a drag race down here at Indy. But can Loshak hold on? He's certainly got the advantage heading towards the first corner and just cuts the nose off of Pintarek, and that's still Francis Jr. Yeah, just behind both of them. Good tight start to this one. And already Loshak trying to pull away. And yeah, he won't be comfortable yet, but that was a good piece of work there, because as you quite rightly pointed out, he didn't get the best of restarts at all.
Yeah, and I'm surprised Pinteric didn't push the issue just a little bit more. I would have.
Yeah.
It was debatable, but it looked like he had the spot.
So then 22 laps to go. And a bit of a touch there from the number 4. So Paul Fix getting the fix on the number 88. That's Tommy Dreesy. And that's the first time we've really talked about Tommy. And coming back in this weekend and looking to get the best results. Somebody missing out the corner there.
Loshak went off.
That was Loshak.
That was Loshak.
Whoa, the leader. Well, a rare mistake from Loshak there, but that's opened this race right up now.
I guess Pinteric didn't have to force the issue.
Whoa, and now Ernie's gone slightly wide, but Ernie Francis Jr. gathers it all together, and look who's behind him, Tommy Dreesy. So then, what a race, what a finish we're going to have here.
Paul Fix tried it on the outside, but that's tough to do coming out of that corner.
Back on to the front straight here at Indy. Francis Jr., Dreesy with Fix behind him. Simon Gregg.
Great run for Simon Gregg. That's a good battle between Dreesy and Paul Fix.
Yeah, and looking further down, we're waiting for the TA3 guys. Tim Kesman leading that one. He got a good restart at least. But obviously with everybody packing up as well behind him, it's going to cause a much tighter race. Francis Jr. bouncing over the curves and getting good drive there. He's got to run, surely now. Looks to the inside. Can't quite do it this time.
Not quite close enough, no.
Certainly, David's going to be defending and making that car as wide as he possibly can, that Cadillac. A great-looking car. Francis goes wide, and he's
right there.
He's basically just trying to show himself in every mirror and every which way to let him know he's there. Now he's got to run again. Can he have another go? And he has this time. Oh, that's beautifully done. Oh, he didn't even pause for breath there. He just went past. He just sailed past, didn't he?
Yeah, and that's. I don't know if Pinteric was looking in his mirror or something. And Ernie is seasoned, so he knows getting in the guy's mirror and getting in that guy's head. And as Pinteric, you know, if I'm Pinteric, I'm like, I don't want to look in my mirrors at all.
Boris said still struggling with that car, but across the line comes Francis Jr. Fascinating race this, and one that I think certainly Ernie Francis Jr. can be very proud of.
Number 20 there getting around Paul Fix. I think Paul Fix's car is kind of falling off a little bit.
He seems to have some sort of problem. Of course, 20 is Chris Dyson, who we mentioned, struggling a little bit under the weather in terms of health, but I don't think he's got time with the adrenaline flowing to worry about that.
No, you know what? It's only under cautions. Because I've driven sick before, and once you go, the adrenaline just kind of makes it. But once you get under caution and you're sneezing and sniffling, it's no fun.
Then it catches up with you.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Kesman still leading at TA3. Bowden and Pierce, the top 3. Lux just behind, some 3 seconds behind is Cindy. And she's still in the hunt. And look at Francis now, putting on a display, sliding that car, that Mustang, the frameless sponsored number 98, putting it through its paces and heading as fast as he can towards that checkered flag. Brilliant overtake. He just sailed by. Perhaps that was, like you say, he was perhaps looking in his mirrors. Or you know, it was just a place he wasn't expecting him to overtake.
Or tires. That's something we're going to have to ask him after the race. I mean, could he feel the difference where he just had such fresh tires that it's been this easy for him?
Yeah, there's no question that Lawrence Loshak's problems were created by himself, I think. As they cross the famous yard of bricks one more time. Now 19 to go. And traffic could be an issue towards the end of it. There's Kesman. He comes across the line, and it's a good battle in TA3 too. Kesman, Bowden, Aaron Pierce, still third, then Cindy Lux. And then the first of the TA4 cars, Warren Dexter in that Ginetta G55, leading the way.
Was it second race, first pole?
For
Warren Dexter.
It's first race.
First race,
pole.
first pole. He could get his first win.
First win, exactly.
That'd be pretty cool to do at Indy.
Yeah, and he was just tickled pink to be here. I mean, I was asking him, I said, you're 21, what are you going to do? And he said, you know what, I'd love to hang around Trans Am. I like it, I like the atmosphere. This might be my first time out. I'm in an unusual car, but he'd had his girlfriend polishing it up this morning. He said, so I'm ready to go. And I said, I like your style.
I'm not sure I could pull that off.
I'm not sure I believe the story either.
Yeah, that's...
it sounded good.
Yeah, exactly. But it's good. It's good to see him, someone that's...
He'll be doing the washing up.
Yeah. That loves Trans Am. He's like, I want to be here.
Yeah, that's good. Especially a youngster like that. There is so many choices these days, but it just shows you how vibrant the whole series is when we're attracting youngsters like that who do have a lot of choices. Crossing the yard of bricks again goes Ernie Francis. And this is turning out to be a cracking weekend for the youngster, the multiple champion, Ernie Francis Jr. And still the battle continues. Andreezy in the number 8, doing a really good job. Just holding off. At the moment anyway, Chris Dyson.
It'll be tough to...
So, just a reminder that at the start of this weekend, Ernie Francis Jr. had a 99-point lead. Chris Dyson second with 83 points, and Dyson's still out there, and in 5th place at the moment. And David Pantarek with 70 points at the start of this weekend. So, everybody in the top 5 has a reason to make sure that they finish this race and finish in the points.
It's going to be a good day for points for Ernie.
Yeah. Oh,
for
big
sure.
time. And he half expected it. That's the weird thing. I'm surprised at how nonchalant he was, but, he almost half expected it.
Well, those guys on that team, I mean, he's got such confidence in them, and that gives you as a driver confidence, too. When you're confident your team has got you a good car, there's no reason not to be confident, especially in the position that he's in.
So, Ernie Francis Jr. from David Pantarek. Tony Dreezy now 3rd, ahead of Chris Dyson 4th, Paul Fix in 5th, and Simon Gregg in 6th place. Bocom in 7th, Kesman leading TA3 8th overall, and Mark Bowden still very much in touch with Kesman in the battle for TA3, and Amy Ruman dropping back to 10th overall.
Not sure what's wrong with Amy Ruman. She was running pretty well in practice. I have some sort of problem with her.
I'll tell you what, this TA3 battle is getting a little bit nail-biting because you can see Kesman, he's coming up on cars in front of him, but look how close the man behind him, which is Mark Bowden.
Teammates, too.
Yes, I know, but real rivals, too, because those guys, although they're in the same team, they've battled all season long.
Interesting.
That's not part of the design.
Another missing door. We saw that yesterday.
We saw that yesterday. Well, the Ginetta isn't quite designed that way, but, what the heck. Don't know how he's done that, to be fair. Or she's done that, I should say. Aline Cipriani, the Brazilian, the rookie, in the number 60. Currently 17th overall, as we take a look at the 99. Great paint scheme.
I like the fangs.
You do? Fair enough.
I do.
So we're getting down to the nitty-gritty with 16 to go. Ernie Francis Jr. amazingly has come from the back and now leads this race. And he's putting in some cracking laps. His best lap at 128.4. And that's quite, he's not that far off Paul Fix's best at 128.5. But those two are the quickest men on track. And meanwhile, this battle continues. Dreezy.
And Derek went for it.
Oh! And so too did Chris Dyson. And finally, Dyson has to give to that. Or is he giving up? No, not quite. So, good work from David. And can he hold it? Because I think Dyson's a little bit miffed by that.
Yeah, I don't think Dyson's gonna let him get too far.
So the official gap in TA3 is 1.7 seconds, but it's getting closer and closer as the laps come down. When they're getting back into traffic again. Down the main straight then. Let's have a look at that battle again. And Jake, your take? He sort of bounced into him, didn't he? Because of bouncing over the curbs, but
I think it was pretty clean. That was a good job on Pantera, and good job on Dyson. Those guys are both really clean racers, so I'm sure they're just smiling and having fun when that stuff's happening. I think Low Shack, we're getting word out with a gearbox. And that's disappointing for him.
And do you think it jumped out of gear and that's what sent him onto a self-made across the grass, kind of run? Or could he have done it while crossing the grass trying to find a gear?
Yeah, it probably, something broke and that caused either the rear tires to lock up and he spun off.
Well, this is a masterclass at Indy, one to remember for the history books for Ernie Francis Jr. He's got a massive 10.9 second lead now. And, well, the team is breathless racing, and it has been just that by Ernie Francis Jr.
I think if there's another caution and Dreesy can get there,
yes, good point.
He might be able to get around them and maybe hold them off. But the only way he's going to get closer with a caution. Dreesy's been pretty good. Ooh.
Whoa, the Ginetta doing a little pirouette.
Looks like she's got some damage up front.
Well, it can't be easy. You've got no door, so that there must have been, to lose a door as she done, it beggars belief that your door just falls off, and I can't believe they didn't prepare the car where the door would stay on. So I think something's happened, and that may well be that the car is just not running right anyway. So this battle continues. Tommy Dreesy still second place at the moment. So he's guaranteeing his podium, and that's why he came. He wanted to be on that podium here at Indian, as does everybody. But David Pintaric is not going to just fold at any time soon, and there's still enough time. So let's take a look at the Ginetta doing a little bit of pirouetting. Do with some classical music there.
Yeah,
nice.
I think she was trying to stay off of him.
Yeah.
And as they came around,
she ran out of road.
Yeah, she just looped it, which was,
good recovery.
Good on her not to take him out.
3 points for style, put it that way. Nicely done. Okay, we're getting down to 14 to go now. Ernie Francis Jr., Tommy Dreesy. This is TA we're looking at, of course. TA3, we've got 3 classes in all. It's still Kesman, 12th overall, but leading in TA3 ahead of Mark Bowden. Whoa! That is car number 20. That's Chris Dyson smoking out. And he's got a fire inside. He needs to get out of there quick. And meanwhile, the O2 is also slowing right down or trying to get out of the way.
And the number 8, I believe, he just went by, Tommy Dreesy. A little bit of smoke coming out of the exhaust.
So he's in the pits too. Dreesy, you reckon's got some problems as well?
I don't know. There was a little more smoke than I would like to see coming out of exhaust.
Dreesy's dropped to 3rd. Pintaric is up to 2nd.
I think
so
he's got a problem.
Yet to unfold, but luckily for Ernie Francis Jr., no such problem for the frameless 98. Well, we knew this would have a twist. Just coming past our commentary position.
Dyson's got some damage. He just went by here.
Heavy damage, isn't it, on the 20? And he is out of proceedings pretty much as we take a look at car number 59. Simon Gregg, 7th overall at the moment. Sorry, he's up to 5th, excuse me, now with those retirements. Here's that battle for TA3, and it's certainly not done, is it? The 4-line boys going for it. And so far, Tim Kesman, with the lemons of love, green and white, has done a really good job of just keeping his foot in, not making any mistakes, getting his way through the traffic and holding off Bowden. But it's not over, is it, by any means?
No, not 13 to go here, and it's a long circuit, so we don't know. Bowden might be sandbagging a little.
You think?
I don't know.
Well, certainly he's got the opportunity to use a bit of traffic now. We're watching the 44. And Tip's had a good year, actually. I mean, it's far from over, but he started well. And he's been in the hunt in almost every race. And again here at Indy. He's not showing any signs of slowing down too quick.
That's a huge confidence booster, too.
Yeah.
You just continue to run well and run well and run well. I mean, that does, you know.
And it's not like they're running every week.
Right.
They're not running every two. You know, they've had a month off or so, and that's hard to sort of keep that impetus going when you've had a break like that. But he's done it. He's done it well.
Put a little distance between him and Bowden.
Yeah, he did in that last lap, didn't he? Well, if Bowden was sandbagging, he better throw the sandbags out. Better change that up. So we're getting down to the last 10 laps of this race. With 12 to go at the moment. Warren Dexter still leading in TA4. And the youngster, the 21-year-old from Nebraska in the Ginetta, just ahead of the Bill Baton, the local man in the Camaro, who's in 19th position.
Greasy caught back up to Pinteric here.
Yeah, so I don't know if there was a problem for Dreesy or not, but he doesn't show any signs of it right now, does he? So we've still got a good battle for the podium, and it's not over. We've certainly got a good 10 laps to go after this. As they cross the line again, they cross the strip of bricks. We were out there last night. It's always nice to be out here, and it's such a magnificent place to be. There's no question about it. It's awe-inspiring. I mean, it's just so enormous, and you feel like a tiny thimble out there. Almost more harrowing when it's at night, where it's a little bit dark and
quiet.
Stands are empty and quiet. There's no PA, there's no roar of engines, and it's sort of spooky, but fantastic to be
I would
here.
say peaceful.
Yeah, peaceful. Spoken like a true racing driver. Here we go.
I think, he's going to make a move.
Here comes Dreesy. Nicely done. Good clean move. Under braking, but turning in. A little bit of a contact. Racing's rubbing.
I would say so.
Yeah, all right. Well, he did brake very late into that.
I think he actually overslowed the car and wasn't looking
Just
far
to
enough
make the
ahead.
corner,
And that's Pinteric was looking where he needed to go, and Greasy was just
well,
there.
if Pinteric's going to come back, he's going to have to use the traffic ahead. But as you can see, they're coming onto the wider section now. This mini part of the turn 2 oval. And you're not missing anything out at the front. Ernie Francis Jr., he's already had a shower and gone home. No, he's still out there, but he's a long way ahead. And like I said, the traffic is a little bit of a chance here, and that's not what Dreesy wanted. He wanted to make that cleaner than he did. That's allowed David to stay with him. And I think as they go onto this back section, if Tarek is going to stay with him. Oh, and he comes very close indeed. Was that a mistake by Dreesy?
I think it was.
Oh, they're touching, and it's going to end in tears. Around goes the flag, and away, out of the way goes David Tarek. The Ohio man will not be pleased with that. 57 is turned around. And I have to say, you can't really blame Tommy Dreesy for that one.
I don't know. I don't know. They
are black flagging 8, so I've just answered my own question. I won't put you on the spot there.
Thank you.
You survived that one, but they are blaming Tommy Dreesy. Let's have another look. Now you can call it, Jake.
Well, Dreesy slowed down to let him go, it looked like.
But then nudged him from behind.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
Well...
I don't...
It's here or there. We don't need to be the judge. It's already been judged.
It looked
a
like
black flag.
It looked like he slowed. Well, when he went into turn 1 there, he just went in there way too hard, and the front end started chattering, and that's what gave Pinteric the opening.
Well, it was a good battle while it lasted. Meanwhile, the battle at the front, the man who's come from back to front, Ernie Francis Jr. is literally in the zone here.
And that might work out for Simon Gregg. He might have just got himself a podium.
Wow. Yes, good point. Yeah, that's makes things interesting, doesn't it?
Unless
because he was 9th position at one point.
Yeah, unless Pinteric can catch him. I don't know where he's at on the track.
Yeah, I think without being funny, Tommy Dreesy, as he comes in to serve his penalty, it was already kind of building up to being an incident, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were going hard, and yeah, you're right. It probably was just a matter of time. Now, Pinteric, they just went by the line. He's still in second.
Well,
but that still puts Simon on the podium, so
yeah, exactly.
Great run for Simon Gregg.
I'm sure many race fans watched Le Mans as we did this morning, and you never count out anything until the end of the race. Toyota know that better than anybody, but they finally did it. And I think that's the same for Ernie Francis Jr. He's got a massive, massive lead, but he's still got to get to the checkered flag. And a lapse of concentration. We know he's not 100%. He can't have had a full night's sleep. He raced last night in New Jersey. He didn't get practice. He's had to go out. He had one lap, effectively a shakedown lap, this morning, in fact, and which really couldn't learn anything. He was literally doing a systems check, if you will, and yeah. That was all he got, so that's as much as he's managed to get involved in. But he's done a really good job since he's been in the car. But he's going to be feeling it now, especially without the competition. There's always a chance that you could lose concentration when you've got such a big lead as he's got. So at the moment, Ernie Francis Jr. ahead of David Pinteric, then Simon Gregg looking for a podium, and that could make things very interesting. Time running out then, 8 laps to go. Amy Ruman up to 4th place now. Kesman in TA3 is 5th overall. Tommy Treasy dropping back, obviously. Bowden still behind him in TA3.
And this is what Ruman needed.
Yes,
was
she did.
A really good run here. So she should be pleased with that. Greasy back out on track.
So, yeah, and he served his drive-through penalty for that contact. But I'm sure he's going to be spitting inside that lovely painted car. But this is not the return to Trans Am he wanted. He's got a storied history in Trans Am. He's been around for a while as Tommy. But this is not going to be one to remember. And it was looking that way. He was having a good run. But it was starting to get a little fruity. Fruity.
Yeah, that's one of those things. I mean, avoidable contact. I guess Chief Stewart just decided that was definitely avoidable. And
well, and you've always got to think of the other man involved. He was spun around, he was going about his business, and he was headed for a really good result. And you can understand that. So you've got to weigh it up. There's 2 sides to every battle.
Yeah.
Only one side to this battle, though.
And you got the track is wide enough.
Yes.
We're not back in Detroit.
Actually, you're right. If we were at Detroit, that incident you may well have got away with it because it's such a narrow track and there's walls on either side, and you may have argued, hey, I couldn't get out of the way. Whereas here, really no excuses. You can see for yourself just how much room there is. And with 7 to go, Ernie Francis Jr. with a massive 30-second lead over David Pinteric. Then Simon Gregg, Amy Ruman, Tommy Treasy, John Bokum, Lawrence LePage, Paul Fix all the way down, and Chris Dyson, who had such high hopes, as did Lauren Floshak, and that's a real shame because they were the early runners in this race. And unfortunately, they're not going to come away with the result they wanted.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Dyson. He came in with the right front. It looked like it was all caved in and blowing smoke, and he's back out there now. Paul Fix slow on the front stretch there.
He's still out, but boy, he's circulating slowly. He just passed us, and he was going half speed at best.
Amy Ruman.
Yep.
Good run for her. She, like I said, she needed that for the points so she could stay alive.
Well, we talked to her, didn't we, yesterday, and I wished her luck, and she said, I need it. As once again, the 4-line number 16, he's already had one spin, and he has another, and luckily he's got it going.
It's greasy.
Yeah,
it's
clearly.
Greasy out there.
Well, we heard that earlier. Yeah, that's Tom Herb for his 2nd time in a bit of a spin, and Francis Jr. trying to alert those ahead of him to get out of his way. But I think, like we said, this track is big enough where it really isn't a problem as long as you're being patient, basically. And
I'm looking at some of these lap times. Amy Ruman's catching Simon Gregg. I think she can pull off the podium.
Well, that would change her day completely if she could get on the podium for sure. Yeah, Amy Ruman's best lap at 1:30.5. She just did a 1:31.8, and as you quite rightly point out, she's going a lot quicker than Simon Gregg. I'm looking at Ernie Francis. His lap last time was a 1:31.9. Still got a 31-second lead, though, over the man in second place.
He's hooked up.
Yeah, he's going good. And that lap at 1:32, he's knocked it off slightly, but he did have a little bit of traffic. That one on 32.8, so he's just, you know, his best lap was a 1:28.4, which was scintillating when you consider it. Tommy Dreesy was like, oh, something.
Tarek.
And that's the second place car, and it looks as though he could have been involved with the number 16, who'd already spun round and was trying to get back on track. But the four-line bomb, number 16, is out again, and that's 3 incidents now Tom Herb has been in, but he unfortunately got in the way of David Tarek, who was in second place, and here comes Amy Ruman. So, Ruman right there, closing stages of this one. We look back, there's Kesman, there's Pentarek, and just behind is Amy Ruman. She knows she's got a good chance here. She's done a good job of closing the gap anyway, but that incident has just played into her hands, surely.
Yeah, with 5 to go, if it goes green the rest of the way, she should be able to catch.
Well, there's traffic to run for. She was going quicker anyway. Her last lap, a 1:32.8. And because of that spin round, David did a 1:41, so he lost 10 seconds to Amy on that lap alone. Here comes Kesman doing a really good job, and he's pretty much put away the battle. And the lemons of love are being squeezed here in the Porsche as he tries to pull away from Mark Bowden even further. He's kind of done the job, really. He was very close before, Mark, but yep, I think this is going to be a day to remember for Tim. He's done a really good job.
It's a win in Indy. Yeah, of course it is.
Telling us about his Lemons of Love sponsorship at the beginning of the season, so that's one very close to his heart. And it's a charity, and he really wants to give them as much exposure as possible. And he's doing it right now. So, Ernie Francis Jr. has wrapped this one up so far, just with a couple of laps to go. 4, in fact. And the frameless shower doors, number 98, is heading to victory here, and it's been an immaculate performance. I mean, when you ask a guy to start at the back and say to him, you're having no practice, you're not going to be here until literally the morning of the race. He got here about, what, 10 a.m. this morning?
Yeah, I think it was 10.
That's not a bad effort. The only real race we've got on our hands, though, is for that podium second place with David Pentarek and Amy Ruman. Ruman in the Corvette, and of course David, who's had a bit of a spin in the Cadillac. Here she is. I think she's already got by him. Or is that just traffic?
I think that's traffic.
You said she did a little testing. Don't know where. She wouldn't tell us that.
And that always helps.
Yeah.
As a driver, I mean, seat time. So, being comfortable in the car, and because they've had a month off, so
yeah, and that was what was. That was a bit of a sideways move, right in front of Amy. But yeah, it's never easy to try and stay honed, and it looks as though we're going to get the white flag next time by. So I overestimated. I thought there was 3 to go, but it looks as though there's 1 to go. And sure enough, I can see the white flag being prepared, which means that Ernie Francis Jr. has just got to do one circuit round this famous, iconic Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and the youngster, Ernie Francis Jr. from Florida, on his way to yet another fantastic victory here at Indy, but one which he will remember and cherish, I'm sure, for a long time. To come from the back in any field, it doesn't matter. Because they are racing for points, and as hard as they can too.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he finished second in his K&N race yesterday.
Yeah.
So I think he was like,
That's not a bad weekend at the office, is
Yeah.
it?
Well, I think it gave him some motivation, too.
Yeah, exactly. There's the white flag for Ernie Francis Jr. He takes it and has 1 lap to go. We'll be watching back now for this lap.
Pitarek's around.
Yeah, for Pitarek and Ruman.
Ruman.
Surely now will go to second. Yeah, he's out again. Big problems then for David Pitarek. Everything was going fine until he got in that battle with Dreezy.
I think he used his tires up.
Yeah.
I think he just used them all up.
You think he's...
Yeah,
fair enough. Well, we'll follow the 98 to the checkered flag, I'm sure. But Amy Ruman has turned around her season in literally half an hour here. And you said to me just before the start of this race, Amy Ruman needs a win here. And I think those were wise words, Jake, because she hasn't got the win, but boy, it's not too far off. Tim Kesman is going to finish 5th overall and win in TA3. And as it stands, Warren Dexter is marching on to a famous first-time win in TA4 for the 21-year-old.
That's pretty impressive.
Very impressive. And a win for Janetta, too, famously. I'll alert the press in Britain.
I tell you what, they sound good.
They do sound good. And they look good. That car looks great.
It's not quite, a V8 Ford or Chevy, but it'll get there.
I think they might be doing a full Brazilian celebration. Brazil are playing in the World Cup. They've got Brazilian engineers on the car, and he's just crossed the line there again to take the white flag, and he's going on. But here comes Ernie Francis Jr. and takes the checkered flag here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to win in TA. Another famous win for Ernie Francis Jr., and one he will remember and cherish, I'm sure, for a long time to come. That was textbook racing, folks. Sized his way through the grid right from the very back. He needed the cautions, he got the cautions, he managed the tyres, and that will go down as one of his best. Tim Kesman will also be very grateful for his day here at Indy, and so too will the Lemons of Love, his sponsor, as he will come to the checkered flag. Amy Ruman comes across the line now. Tommy Dreese finishes overall in 3rd position despite that drive-through penalty, and Kesman slows it right down at the end there. Bowden will cross the line. Simon Gregg. Bowden crosses 5th overall and just behind Kesman. David Pitarek recovers just about to 6th place, but what a interesting race he had. And I'm sure he'll be ruined the fact that he led the race at one point, he was 2nd, he was 3rd, then he dropped back. Yeah, it was all going on. There is the TA4 and the little Janetta, the little team that can, the all-green Janetta of Warren Dexter from Nebraska takes the G55 to victory in TA4. And folks, the British mark is coming here in the United States because a TA4 victory for them. Great stuff. And all eyes on Ernie Francis Jr. An immaculate performance. And that is how you do it, Jake.
Yeah, that caution's played right into him. But if I'm Amy Ruman, I just took a big sigh of relief.
Yeah.
After all that.
That won't have done her championship hopes any harm at all, will it?
No, she's going to be super pleased with today, for sure.
Well, just looking down, she started the day in, 7th place? And she's finished ahead, obviously, of Loshak, Gregg, and Pitarek. So that will have helped her massively and actually put her in the hunt. You're right, absolutely. She's back in the hunt. Can't see anybody challenging Ernie Francis Jr. the way things are going. He comes into victory lane. But that's one to savour, isn't it? I think he'll have a good night's sleep tonight. Long weekend, but the frameless shower doors will be pleased with that. He might want a shower after that. Good stuff. Yeah, by my estimates, Amy's put herself right back in the running. So then, confirmation, Ernie Francis Jr., Amy Ruman 2nd. Tommy Dreese did take 3rd place ahead of David Pitarek in 4th. Simon Gregg 5th. Joe Bokum in 6th place. Paul Fick, sadly, and I say sadly only because he'd been running right at the front, and same for Lawrence Loshak, who's further down, but it's Lawrence Lepage just behind him here at the capital of racing. And of course, TA3, well, a fantastic run from Tim Kesman, who takes the victory 5 seconds ahead of Mark Bowden. It was a lot closer than that at one point. Sidney Lux, win the Dodge, does a really good job and takes third ahead of Aline Cipriani in fourth place. Also in a Ginetta, I may add, so good result. Cary Grant, David Rishi and Tom Herb, despite all those spins, does get a decent result out of TA3. But the big news has to be TA4 as well, because if Ernie Francis has done a good job, so too has this rookie. First time out in Trans Am in TA4, and Warren Dexter of Nebraska, the 21-year-old, makes his name, beating Dane Jorgensen-Smith and Toppen Napialaski in third position, and that is a great result for Warren. Congratulations. I know, having spoken to him earlier in the day, just what this means to him, and he says he's sticking around this paddock, and we may be hearing that name quite a few more times. What a debut. So Francis is out of the car, and he bangs the top of that Mustang. And you can see he's looking a little weary. But I think he'll just have enough strength to open that champagne and get the bubbly going. There's that Ginetta. It's a cute-looking car, isn't it?
Definitely growing on me.
Okay, good. And a little bit of damage to several of the cars. Everybody inspecting just how badly beaten up they have been. Not quite as much drama in terms of damage, anyway, as the TA2 car race yesterday. But, yep, Team Ernie Francis, well pleased with their day, and so too Warren Dexter gets the water going immediately. Had a look inside that car. It's immaculately put together. It looks really good inside.
You'd look good in that car.
You think?
I think so.
Yeah, it'd have to be a British car, you know. I could see me making a Trans Am, career out of it. Can't talk about it all the time. So, what a great day. I hope you've enjoyed that coverage from Indy. Blisteringly hot conditions, 144 the track temperature. And as you rightly point out, it's probably 150 in the cockpit. So you can see Ernie kind of puffing and panting a little. And just looking at the backs of all of their overalls, they are absolutely solid soaked in sweat. Probably lost about 5 pounds in that race alone.
I was going to say, I'm sure he is glad to be done.
So they're just taking a little time to get him to the podium. Everybody's got to have a chat and a pat on the back and a quick interview for TV, whatever they got to do. Ernie just talking us through his race. But to be honest, out of everybody out there, he had the least amount of drama. He made the most stories by going from the back to the front, but he had the least amount of drama.
Yeah, hey, sometimes it's good to be just lurking in the background, you know?
Exactly.
I mean, no news is good news.
I agree. Some iconic tracks to come still. Road America.
Daytona.
Yeah, Watkins
Daytona.
Glen. Yeah. So it all started out. Everybody excited about getting out there on track. We had a split start, i.e. the TA car started ahead. And then the TA3 and TA4 class sprinted away too. Not too much drama at the start per se. The number 16, one of many of Mr. Herb's crashes, or spins at least. That caused another 2 cars to get into an incident, another one of the Porsches getting spun round. Then Bupp having a problem with the left front, as you can see, locking up, and that brought him into the pits. And then one of the Corvettes out. We had a caution. Then a restart. Tommy Dreesy in the wars with the number 4 of Paul Fix. The Ginetta lost a door, but kept going, and she would be in a spin very soon. Dreesy and Dyson coming together. Sorry, Pintarik and Dyson coming together. There's the Ginetta spinning round. But she recovered well and kept it on track. This was the battle then between Pintarik and Dreesy, given the black flag and a drive-through for this incident, taking Pintarik out. Another spin for Tom Herb in the four-line car, but nobody was getting in the way of Ernie Francis Jr., who took the checkered flag, having started from the back. A brilliant display of racing and a deserved win, and a pat on the Mustang as well to say thank you for taking him home.